Recently, one of my students called me up and said they were struggling with turns around a point. Don't misunderstand. When I say students, I teach a dance workshop every third Sunday. It's a not so much a workshop, as it's like it's not important actually to this particular video. So anyway, because of that phone call, I want to talk about this turns around a point. And so what is it? It's actually turns about a point, but no one says that. Technically, it's a fluff maneuver that the FAA came up with because your examiner has to fill an hour, and you can't spend the entire check ride just doing simulated engine outs over some inconspicuous grass strip just behind you and off to the left. There's always a grass strip just behind you and off to the left. Know that. A lot of people get overwhelmed with this maneuver, but I'm going to simplify it for you really easily. Turns around a point can only be done to the left or to the right. Knowing that should eliminate a lot of frustration and anxiety you're having about your check ride. The other thing to consider is the FAA never specifically tells us what constitutes a point. You and I know the definition of a point is the shortest line between two distances, but that's not the point. The point is, a point can be a lot of things, and the FAA wants you to be able to turn around, by golly. Now, this is a maneuver that's taught in your primary training when you're working on your private pilot. It's actually a maneuver I don't teach, and the reason for that is because I'm not an instructor. Now, you can do turns around all sorts of points in your Cessnas, your Grummins, your Bonanza, all these planes. It's a little bit different in the Cirrus. We're held to a higher standard. Our maneuver is actually called turns around a point at night, and it is a VFR maneuver, so it's definitely a challenge.
Now, in a plane like this Mooney, we fly slow enough, we could do turns around a squirrel if we want. Hey, look, there's a puppy on the ground. Let me turn around him. You want to make sure you don't turn too much because you could get dizzy or you could get sick. You could accidentally hypnotize yourself. Unfortunately, you just can't do this in the Cirrus. The plane is way too fast. Let me land and explain.
So now I've kind of walked you through how the maneuver is done in some other aircraft. I'll show you how it's done in the Cirrus. It's a little bit different because the aircraft is so fast we can't turn around some of these smaller things. So I'm going to show you how I do turns around a point. And for my maneuver, the point I've chosen is Dallas.
Okay, I'm in the air now, and the idea here is I want to keep Dallas at the center of my turn. It's easier to see here on ForeFlight. I want to stay the same distance from the city at all times, maintaining an even turn as I come around. Now you can see the bank angle doesn't look all that extreme, but that's because we are turning around a larger point, and that's because we're going so fast. So we keep it there. Now I'm coming around. You can see I've maintained the same arc as I'm coming around. Try not to get too caught up in my my version of ForeFlight. This is an upgrade that only Cirrus pilots get. It's sort of custom. Doesn't seem fair, does it? Perfect. And so now we're 180 degrees from where we started, and we're coming around, and you can see I'm holding the bank angle exactly as it is, and everything's perfect as it should be. This is a really good maneuver. I'm doing this just right. I'm keeping it in, and you can see now I'm coming back around the north side, and the idea is to end up exactly where I started. The best way to confirm that you're exactly where you started, in smaller planes you'll hit your wake turbulence. In the Cirrus, you just look at the GPS and you'll know that this is where you began the maneuver. That was perfect.
When we're doing this in the Cirrus, you want to make sure you don't inadvertently get complacent. You could fly off on some 200-mile tangent, and it would cost you a lot of money. A plane like this Bonanza is economical to do that maneuver because it's powered by 100 low lead, currently priced $349 at the airport I'm at. This Cirrus, on the other hand, as you know, is powered by children's laughter. You can't quantify that with a dollar figure. Not American dollars, anyway. Alright, so that's turns around a point. Subscribe and stay tuned. My next video is going to be on shock heating your engine, whether or not that's a myth. We're going to find out once and for all. Cirrus, on the other hand, is powered by a promotion that was given to Bill because he works longer, harder hours than you, but it's not fair because Bill didn't have a family. You've got a family to take care of. He's single. He can do that. This Mooney, on the other hand, is powered by elbow grease and know-how. This Cirrus, on the other hand, is powered by Angela Lansbury. That's a limited resource. We have to start looking for an alternative, and quick. Now, if you find yourself doing turns about a point in an aircraft like this Archer here, it's always good to pick a really ambiguous point. That way, if the examiner fails you for the maneuver, you can say, no, not that tree. I was turning around this other tree over here. And if he can't conclusively prove which tree you were or weren't trying to turn around, he can't fail you on the maneuver. That's true. Cirrus, on the other hand, is powered by pilots on the internet arguing over whether or not having a ballistic recovery chute on your plane makes you lesser of a pilot. That's actually not, that'd be easier to come by than avgas, wouldn't it? That way, if the examiner fails you, you can always say, no, I wasn't talking about that bush, I was talking about this other bush. If he can't prove which bush it was that you were flying around, he can't fail you on the maneuver. That's a fact.
If you've ever considered purchasing a $20 knockoff SoPro camera, I'm giving you a pretty compelling reason right now to make a different choice. Oh look, an actual GoPro.